Yes, naturally. There's a Super Saiyan bargain sale going on.
Firebrand, what are you doing?
I saw the latest spoiler, and I'm trying to repress it.
Never heard of spoilers driving people to drinking, or cuteness for that matter.
If you call a vomitous reject from Gen 3.5 cute, hey, I don't judge. Now leave me to my irresponsible repression.
Wait a minute, those aren't drunk words. Probably because that's not beer. This is root beer.
I know, it's meant to be like symbolic, or something.
Good gravy, dude. You'll explode.
And on my tombstone they'll write, it's all Season 6's fault. Another round!
Sigh. Firebrand, look, I don't do this often.
Do what?
Be helpful. What do you say we do a quick chat about the show? Get your mind off the spoiler.
But how's that gonna... Never mind, I'm too drunk to care.
Oh no, I'm not that irresponsible. Give me your keys.
Fine, my chariot's out front.
How?
Dusty owed me a freebie. Hello there, everybody! Today on this month of lovingly loving of love, I thought it'd be best to talk about MLP's ideal romance. Yes, we're talking about our resident Disney couple, and maybe a certain spoiler later on. Joining me today is Silver Quill.
Resident Disney couple. If it's not Aladdin and Jasmine, then I'm charging overtime.
It's Shining Armor and Cadance.
Right, changed my mind. Good night, everybody.
Hey, get back here! You're in my kingdom now!
Fine, but I'm gonna say it now. These two are my least favorite characters in the show. Not because they're bad characters, but because the show asks us to admire them without putting forth the effort. Their introduction was the first time that I felt the show prioritized toy sales over storytelling, and as a result, there's a bitter association. And while an entire nebula of untapped potential swirls around these two, they've not had any meaningful events to flesh them out.
Interesting observation. Shining Armor's introduction painted him as, well, not much. We couldn't really get a reliable read on him, not only because he was hypnotized for most of the episode, but we learned very little about him. He just existed to invert the damsel in distress trope, which the Little Mermaid beat them to.
Not only that, but in trying to rescue the prince, Cadance couldn't really accomplish much without Twilight. Her one contribution was a distraction ex machina bouquet, but for the rest of the adventure, it was Twilight basically saying,
Quick, go to him while you still have the chance. Your spell. Perform your spell.
"Press X to win." Then came the Crystal Empire, a land synonymous with disappointment.
Boy, you're just rainbows and sunshine today.
Allow me to ask you a question, old boy. Can you name 3 crystal ponies?
Sure I can. There was that, no, comics are canon. Does Cadance count?
I'll take it. I would also accept that one librarian pony, but only because there are no other names to proffer. Here's the short version. Cadance and Shining Armor just became rulers of a land displaced in time. They're newly married. Shining Armor just entered a new social strata that's a far cry different from military life.
Speaking of which, did Shining actually get discharged? If so, who's his replacement?
Well, judging from the season 4 finale, he's still the boss, and as ineffective as his troops. Point is, there are so many conflicts that they could face and overcome together, but for some reason the show is afraid to break the fairy tale couple image. So all that marvelous potential gets washed away.
Well, I would argue that's not really anyone's fault. After all, they do technically live in another country. The show is about the main 6 and Spike sometimes, so it would be difficult to make a believable excuse for our actual heroines to travel there for a visit.
Excuse? I don't know about most family outings, but I see no reason for Twilight to need an excuse to visit her family. She'd be the princess of friendship going to see the princess of love. Take from that sentence what you will, for I can ship anything. But if an excuse you must have, make up another holiday.
Silver, your drinking game
will not be challenged.
Anyways, this does bring up a point. I have noticed several times through the show that the writers have written themselves into corners with characters and plot developments. While adding certain elements in episodes would have been nice, like adding Luna to the Crystal Empire or Spike to the Cutie Map, it would have either convoluted the plot or solved it instantly.
Which begs the question, why introduce characters that can't be utilized?
Besides the toys, well, I don't have concrete evidence of this, but maybe they're intentionally leaving it vague. The less you explain something, the more room you have to explore it later. Maybe they're keeping their cards close?
I think that's close to the mark. Truly, Cadance and Shining Armor occupy a strange middle ground. They're too established to offer the creative freedom we associate with background ponies, yet too underdeveloped to carry an episode on their own. I don't invest a lot of energy in figuring out what they do off screen if the show itself seems disinterested.
Well, I don't know. Some of us like seeing the cheesy fairy tale romances. For a lot of people, seeing an ideal romance like that is inspiring. It gives you something to strive for. Is it realistic? Not really, but ideals really aren't realistic. Cadance and Shining do have that perfect, albeit generic relationship, or at least that's what we've been shown.
Have we been shown? When I think back, I struggle to remember scenes where Cadance and Shining were really caring for one another. They had about 3 minutes on screen together for their wedding, and were mostly separate for other events. I think the Crystal Empire was the only time they really worked together.
Well, that had a strong display of trust. Would you trust me to throw you like a javelin?
You stay far, far away from me.
Point proven.
So yes, they have the trust and can rely on each other, but that's it. They're a flawless, generically nice couple. I can only guess that by keeping Cadance and Shining Armor generically nice, the show encourages viewers to fill in the gaps themselves. Easier to market an ideal romance when your audience are the ones projecting the ideal. Isn't that right, Stephanie Meyer?
Oh yeah, I filled in plenty of gaps. When Cadance appeared as the Princess of Love, I always figured she'd be a bit like Aphrodite from Hercules. I have it in my head that that's what she does off screen, helps other ponies with love and self-esteem issues.
Well, folks know my off-screen headcanon.
What is wrong with you?
Many things.
Fair enough. Now, concerning the gaps with Shining, I've noticed an interesting trend online about what nerdy girls have been fawning over. Honorable warrior dorks. I don't know why, but girls nowadays are really into the idea of a strong male who can protect those he loves, has chivalrous standards, and will persevere through the harshest danger, yet is also a little socially awkward, kinda goofy, and in touch with their sensitive side. And we got a little bit of that with Shining Armor in Slice of Life and the one where Pinkie Pie knows, where he went full on dork. It's made me hope that he follows the trend of what girls are looking for and becomes a total dorky dad.
Ooh, speaking of the proud papa.
No.
Oh yes.
No.
Now is the time to talk of les spoilers. That's French for the spoilers.
It's really not. And how about we don't talk about them and say we did?
No, you cannot deny me this one uncharted frontier. Cadance has been a princess since her teens, at least. One could argue she's experienced enough to take up leadership without a lot of turbulence. Fair enough. But motherhood? Full sitting might be a start, but you get to be paid and go home to relative quiet. Motherhood is a full-time deal. You never stop being a parent. How will our royal couple handle this new responsibility?
Shut up and wait for season 6 to start.
Oh, but Firebrand, there must be something we can comment on.
No.
Something in addition to her horn?
No.
She has wings.
Ugh! Come on, really, writers? I'm trying to give y'all the benefit of the doubt here. I'm trying to remain optimistic, but you're making it really hard. I feel like the show is treating Alicorns the same way DBZ treated Super Saiyans. At first, it was a big deal. Our main character, through hard work and emotional turmoil, fulfilled an ancient prophecy. Then Trunks became one. Then Vegeta. Then Gohan. As more and more characters ascended to the supposedly legendary transformation, it slowly became less impressive. It got to the point when Vegeta's great-great-grandson ascended, it was met with groans.
That was Dragon Ball GT, which has been slain by the Super. But the whole Super Wing Alicorn does make me uncomfortable. One of the big selling points for the Equestrian princesses is that they earned their titles. Celestia and Luna were chosen by Star Swirl to protect the land. Cadance earned her horn by rescuing her home from an enchantress. The bomb meant to soothe anger at Alicorn Twilight was that she worked to earn that ascension. Having a baby Alicorn doesn't contradict the Journal of the Two Sisters, but it does muddle the message.
Read that, by the way. It's pretty good. Still, if Flurry Heart earned it, what is she? Princess of Cuteness? Doubt it. Only thing that makes sense is she didn't, and that Alicorns can be born.
Well, it's not unprecedented. One of the key points from the journal is that Celestia and Luna were born Alicorns, but were chosen to become royalty. There is an Alicorn tribe that naturally represents harmony. Now, this was a book aimed at a very young audience, so there's scant details. And I've often wondered why the other Alicorns didn't chip in after Luna's banishment.
Well, maybe they couldn't. Maybe...
I'd hold off on that rabbit hole. Food for future stories, but confusing at this time.
Boy, doesn't that sum up everything we just talked about? Final thoughts?
Indeed. Looking at what's approaching, I'm not angry about this new princess. I'm apathetic. And I'm disappointed that I'm apathetic because I want to be excited about these new developments. My main expectation is that she'll appear for a two-parter, then be forgotten for the season. At best, I expect an episode where Twilight goes to full sit and maybe a cameo by season 6's end.
Hey, don't be so pessimistic, that's never happened. Okay, never mind, that is a huge problem. Too many side characters with underutilized potential. I mean, the only guy that actually gets a decent spotlight is Discord. You think fleshing them out would increase toy sales and viewership. Then again, we aren't marketers, and we don't know the sales data or inner workings of Hasbro. We don't know the process behind episode pitches. Heck, we don't even know if Flurry Heart was even created to sell toys. Is there something we're missing?
Can't say. I maintain that solid storytelling and great characters are some of the best advertising tools available. People are drawn to quality.
That's true, but then again, the show is doing mostly what it's normally been doing. Are these continuous flaws frustrating? Yeah, they are. It would be great if we could fix them. But again, the show is still doing what it does best and hasn't changed what got people interested in the first place. Our characters still learn lessons, do interesting things, and we enjoy spending time with them. We still have our same toy sales, our underutilized concepts, and our confusing plot developments. We may not be getting the things we want, like better development from Cadance and Shining Armor and their relationship, but I think we're still getting the things we need.
Of course, with all this talk about horns and wings, we are overlooking one critical piece of information. The singular trait that will enable us to spot second and first tier characters from birth.
What's that?
The eyes.
What the heck are you talking about?
Season 1. Call the cutie. Look at Shirley's baby picture. Look at it. Absorb its cuteness. Behold her full, cartoony eyes.
I'm not following.
Season 2. Mysterious Mare do Well. Can you tell me this baby's name?
No.
Exactly. With eyes like that, who gives a flip? Baby cakes. Pound and Pumpkin are cutest buttons, but denied top-tier eyes. Ask yourself, have they been the focus of anything since then?
I have a tinfoil hat in the back. Would you like it? It's next to a frequently used lead pipe.
No, thank you. Tinfoil makes me look poofy. Season 5, the one where Pinkie Pie knows. Baby Applejack has the eyes of the chosen. Just like Flurry Heart. You cannot deny it. The eyes of the youth betray their central focus future.
Oh, that is just... Wait a minute, we saw Baby Applejack in Season 3. She didn't have eyes like that.
Now you invoke a new power. An evil force known as Retcon.
Okay, that's the last time I let you start taking things too seriously. Happy Valentine's Day!
This is why we have trust issues. Happy Singles Awareness Day.